Welcome to a new podcast episode. This is the first Advent podcast episode of Nina's Apothecary, as I have come up with something very special for this Advent. I am an absolute fan of Advent calendars, but creating a new little door to open each day or offering some new content or discount seemed a bit confusing to me. So I thought every Advent Sunday or Saturday there will be a surprise, and the discount code or promotion or whatever it is will last until Wednesday. Of course, this is always tied to a theme, and the most common questions I get are about food, losing weight, gaining weight, muscle mass, feeling good, energy levels. What should I eat? When should I eat it? How and where? I see there are still many questions open, so I thought I'd tell you today about the 5 foods that we can always eat. And as much as we want and still lose weight with them, isn't that mind-blowing? There's something we can eat and we lose weight while doing so. How great is that? So I'm going to dive right in, because the most important thing about losing weight is not to lose 10 kilo or 20 kilo in a very short time, to starve ourselves and then gain it all back shortly after, because it's just not sustainable. And anyone who has booked my Fit and Fabulous program has already experienced and learned this firsthand, because it's about not doing a quick diet or adapting a lifestyle that doesn't fit me and my life, my everyday routine. But really creating something that is super simple, tastes great, where I don't have to spend money, don't have to spend extra time, but just be as I am. Just change a few little things with some tips and tricks, maybe if I need them, or just change the order of eating, which also makes a big difference. And for all those who are thinking now, or maybe still thinking after this podcast episode, okay, cool. Now I have 5 foods that I can integrate and will integrate into my everyday life, but how exactly does it all work? You can book my Fit and Fabulous program from today until Wednesday at a 20% discount. And now just imagine how cool that is. You are in contact with me every single day and get all the tips and tricks from me every day. Unfiltered, I tell you everything I know. We make an introductory call, you take a photo, you measure your dimensions and so on and so forth. That means it's going to be really great, and it all happens via WhatsApp. That means it's also super easy and doesn't take a lot of time. Everyone responds when they can, or just sends me the questions they want answered when they can. So I'm really excited. Take advantage of it, because from today there is this 20% discount, and I'm extremely excited and happy. Always keep in mind, my time is very limited. I can't bring 100 people into this program at the same time, but a maximum of 3. Because I also have other work to do, and I want to take good care of you and give you my full attention. So just be quick. There's the option to book the program for 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months. But now let's really jump into the topic, namely, what are the 5 foods we can eat to lose weight? First, I think some of you who know me might have already guessed, it's about green vegetables. Green vegetables might sound a bit lame or boring, but they're not. On the contrary, green vegetables can do so much and also taste so good. If you have no idea how to integrate them, I've also written a recipe book, which I can only heartily recommend, because I'm the one who has no time to cook, no time to shop, because I'm doing 1,000 things. And in this recipe book, there are recipes that take a maximum of 5 minutes. I simply love it. So number 1 is spinach. We know spinach from Popeye. Yes, it's great, has a lot of iron in it. We naturally need iron for our beauty, to not have dark circles under our eyes, to have beautiful hair, extremely important. And additionally, I find spinach is one of the easiest things to make, to cook, to eat, because it just goes so fast. And because it, like all other green leafy vegetables, contains a lot of fiber, but also a lot of vitamin A, for example. Then we have broccoli. You know, I love broccoli more than anything. Why? Because there is a substance in it called sulforaphane, And this substance is responsible for that cabbage smell that comes about. And it's actually there to deter us or any animals that nibble on it. But now, of course, this deterrent, this sulforaphane, is very healthy, and there are an unbelievable number of studies. It is now almost everywhere already used in cancer research and so on and so forth. You can read about it. There are cool studies on it, but it takes some time for it to be activated, to come to the forefront. So my tip is cut broccoli and cauliflower and then let them sit for 40 minutes. Then I can cook them, put them in the oven, whatever I want to do with them, blend them, and they won't be destroyed. If I don't have 40 minutes, there's another trick. For instance, we sell white mustard powder at Wurzelsepp, which you can also buy online, sprinkle it on, and then it only takes 5 minutes, as it acts like an accelerator for this substance to develop faster. Broccoli now also contains a lot of vitamin C as well as protein, which is really cool. But what does this have to do with weight loss? Mainly, green vegetables contain a lot of fiber, and the advantage of fibers is that they act not just as a break. Anyone who has heard my sugar episode knows this. I recommend eating fibers before every meal, because everything that follows, like carbohydrates, sugar, for example, goes into our body much more slowly, and then the body can store it more slowly and easily. That means it doesn't get a sugar shock, but it has time. Okay, I'll put this here, I'll put that there. I need energy over there, just like that. That's the first advantage of fibers. And the second advantage of fibers is that they provide a longer feeling of fullness to our stomach receptors, which then tell our brain, I'm actually already full, and I stay full longer, which is really cool. Of course, we want to lose weight sustainably and not just eat something, then be fully hungry again after 2 hours and starve ourselves all day long. No, we want something that is really sustainably good for us and does us good. And what's more, with fibers, it's not just the feeling that we are full longer. We are actually full longer because the emptying of the stomach simply takes place more slowly, because they stay longer in the stomach, and therefore we get hungry less quickly afterwards. Number 2 of the foods that I try to eat daily or almost daily, and that additionally help me with weight loss, are proteins. As you know, I am vegan, and therefore I prefer to eat plant-based proteins. That means, of course, you always have to make sure that the source is good tofu and tempeh. With tempeh, we now have even more advantages because it is fermented, and everything that is fermented means that some bacteria have been added to it, which then do something with the food. And they change it in some way so that we then have a special taste, for example. And thus we have bacteria that can be good or bad. In this case, they are good. They nourish our microbiome, our good gut bacteria. That means if you're not sure and you like both, then always choose the fermented version. For example, also bread, although it's on my red list, but if you say you eat bread, then eat sourdough bread. There too, bacteria are added, which then nourish or improve our intestinal flora. Why does protein now help me with weight loss? Protein helps me because it consists of many different building blocks, just like a sentence consists of different words. And these different words in proteins are, in this case, amino acids. These are simply the building blocks that are in there, and these amino acids build up our muscle mass and improve our muscle tissue. And it benefits me because if I have more muscles, if I have more muscle mass, I automatically burn more calories because a lot is burned in the muscles. You might know men who are very muscular, who often drink sugary juices. You think, oh my God, but in them everything is burned much faster, and then it often doesn't matter so much. Or they are always on the move anyway. That's the great advantage of proteins. And another big advantage is it doesn't cause a rise in blood sugar. Or at least if it does, only very slightly, so we don't have an insulin swing, meaning we don't fall into the pattern. I eat something and then I have a huge sugar release, and then after 2 hours my sugar crashes again. And then I'm all shaky, and then I have to eat again. It stabilizes my blood sugar, and it also keeps us full longer. Then there's food number 3, which is really good for me, and I'm sure for you too, and also helps us with weight loss, which are legumes, like lentils, for example. Lentils are my top food. Those who have already had a consultation with me will have heard this from me, but also chickpeas, because what's the advantage? First, they have a very high protein content, especially red lentils, but also a very high iron content, which is great because so many women have an iron deficiency and struggle to manage it. And these iron tablets are just terrible. I highly recommend regularly incorporating red lentils, although they also contain carbohydrates, which are very good. That means they do raise blood sugar levels a bit, naturally more than vegetables or proteins, for example, but they also keep it stable for a longer period. And that's the trick with legumes, chickpeas, lentils, whatever. The protein-carbohydrate mix that raises blood sugar levels in the short term, but then stabilizes our blood sugar levels in the long run. What does that exactly bring? As said in the sugar episode, it's explained in detail. I'll just tell you briefly. It means that when we have a stable blood sugar level and don't have these fluctuations, apart from having less cravings and feeling full longer, having more energy, having fewer inflammations in the body, I could go on forever. It also means that we don't always chase our body up and down through these insulin peaks. Because insulin is the hormone that is released when we consume carbohydrates, sugar, it is our fat storage hormone, and now you can imagine what happens with it. It gets stored usually in the belly, more so if we are stressed, which means it really stabilizes the blood sugar level. Then there's food number 4 that helps us lose weight, which is yogurt. Yogurt, like Greek yogurt, for example, but please, high fat, 10%. Sounds absurd, I know. How can a high fat yogurt help me lose weight? What's going on? We always wanted everything low fat, low sugar, low whatever. In this case, it's not like that. It's actually never like that. Please pay attention when you buy yogurt, especially look at the ingredients list and see how much sugar is really in there. Our body handles whole foods best, and Greek yogurt is something that has been around for a very long time. It is mostly not made from cow's milk, but from sheep or goat, which is already advantage number 1, meaning we don't have that special casein form in it that is only in cow's milk. That acts like a drug for our brain, making us dependent and makes us want more cheese, milk, and whatever else. Number 2 is that it's easier to digest, much more satiating for us when we eat a high-fat yogurt. And especially, as often said, the fat is exchanged for sugar in our current industry. So please make sure you don't pick up super spacey stuff. The more original, the better. Another thing I like to eat as a vegan is soy yogurt. Please leave out the oat milk, oat yogurt. It's just starch. Just sugar, please, just leave it. I know, there's the feeling in our heads that it's extremely healthy. It's not. I can really recommend soy yogurt to you. What does yogurt bring now? What does it bring to weight loss? First, it has a lot of protein in it. Second, it keeps us full for a long time. And third, of course, in order to become yogurt, it contains many good bacteria because we need good bacteria to turn it into yogurt. This means yogurt supports our intestinal flora in a positive way because it mainly adds good gut bacteria, and it also adds nutrients for our good gut bacteria. Foods that our good gut bacteria like to eat, and if we have a lot of good gut bacteria, the bad ones are displaced, and thus we get a little out of our vicious cycle. Because the good gut bacteria make us reach more for vegetables or protein. What do the bad gut bacteria do to our body? They tell us, eat sugar, eat carbohydrates, eat pasta, eat pizza, and so on and so forth. And that becomes more and more. And once we get out of that, anyone who has experienced it knows that it always takes a little while. Then we have really won. Number 5 of the foods that help me lose weight are berries. I love berries. You know, I always tell everyone, please don't eat fruit. If at all, only as a dessert. please don't eat a banana or an apple as a snack. I had this blood sugar sensor, I don't know, for 6 or 8 months. You wouldn't believe it. But I might as well eat a piece of cube sugar. It does the same when I eat fruit on an empty stomach. It's really a disaster. I'm sorry. Of course, it's a bit better than sugar or chocolate because we still have fibers in it, but minimal. So please treat every fruit, except berries, like a sweet and eat it as a dessert directly after a meal. What are now the advantages of berries? I find berries taste really good. Apart from the fact that they have almost no calories and almost no sugar, we can also eat them on an empty stomach in the morning. For example, with our Greek yogurt, our soy yogurt. It just makes everything really special. And how does it help us with weight loss? Firstly, due to their purple color, pink color, red color, they contain many antioxidants, such as anthocyanins, for example, and they are responsible for the color and they are responsible in our body for protecting us from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress can be from environmental factors, from smoking, from stress, from wrong nutrition, from alcohol, from whatever. That means we need a bit of protection naturally, because even if we eat perfectly, drink nothing, we still get exhaust fumes, environmental substances, whatever, and need a bit of support and, of course, protection. And the second thing is why it helps with weight loss. It's sweet, meaning I can use it as a dessert, but I can also use it as breakfast if I don't necessarily like breakfast with eggs, with mushrooms, with vegetables, because I say I would rather have something sweet. And what I still do, I add my glycine powder to it, which is my vegan collagen, which also tastes sweet. It also does not raise blood sugar levels. So you see, I'm super excited, and these are my 5 tips and tricks, my favorite foods, which I almost always include. And they are so good, and you will see, the more you eat of them, the better they taste, the more ideas you have, how you can integrate them, the cooler it gets. I would be extremely happy if you write to me, what is your favorite food of these 5? What is your idea, how you can process it, for example, or just write it to me. Write to me either on Instagram at Anina Milenk or on TikTok at Frau Apotheker or via email. For example, on my website karish.at, where you will also find an email form to fill out. Or if you see me, please talk to me, or however you would like to. Every choice is possible. I am happy about everything. So all that's left for me to say is, take advantage of the Fit and Fabulous program, minus 20%. It won't be available again so soon. At least, certainly not for the whole year 2024. Because I was already quite busy in 2023. I started in July and was pretty much full continuously. Take advantage of it because I believe everyone deserves the body they desire and the life they wish for. That's why I am in the world, to help you, to show you how easy it is and how easy it goes, and how you can still enjoy life and still celebrate. And therefore, all I have to say is thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and cherish yourself.